Welcome to this edition of the Neumann Update. I'm Lexi Lomax.
And I'm Amaris Manning. In Christchurch, New Zealand, 49 people, including young children, were killed and 20 people were injured from a mass shooting by the 28-year-old man at two mosques on Friday local time. The Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, describes the crime as one of the darkest days of the country's history. The gunman who live-streamed the attack from a head-mounted camera identified himself as Australian Brenton Tarrant, and the footage showed him firing chaotically at men, women, and children from close range inside one of the mosques. Police called for the public to not share the video, and Facebook claimed to have removed the gunman's Facebook and Instagram accounts and is working on removing copies of the video. The shooter was later arrested by police, and 3 other people were also detained for possessions of firearms and are under investigation. New Zealand Police Commissioner Mike Bush claims that officers have also recovered more firearms and have defused a number of explosive devices attached to vehicles. One of the witnesses claims that during the shooting, people were in a frenzy, trying to hide behind cars and under cars and jump fences. Another witness said, quote, "I was basically praying to God that the shooter would run out of bullets," end quote. Australia Prime Minister Scott Morrison described the actions of the gunman, Brenton Tarrant, the acts of an extremist, right-wing violent terrorist. In reference to reports, Tarrant described himself in a manifesto as an ethno-nationalist and a fascist, and had plans for the attack 2 years prior, but New Zealand wasn't his first choice. But he scoped it out for 3 months. Tarrant is set to appear in court Saturday morning local time, and names of the victims remain unannounced for the time being. And the people of New Zealand, including the victimized families, have received condolences globally from other prime ministers, politicians, and citizens.
What's being labeled as the biggest scandal ever prosecuted surfaced on Tuesday. About 50 defendants spanning over 6 different states have said to be involved in scamming the college admission process. Celebrities such as Felicity Huffman, Lori Loughlin, and husband Massimo Giannulli, ringleader William Singer, and Mark Riddle are a few defendants known to be involved. Singer is known to be the mastermind behind the whole scheme, targeted students with wealthy parents, helping them cheat on the SATs. Allegedly, between $15,000 and $75,000 was paid per test by parents for Singer's help. The money sent to Singer was disguised as celebrities making charitable donations to Singer's Key Worldwide Foundation. Mark Riddle was then hired by Singer to take the placement test for students. Igor Dervitsky and Lisa Williams are both being charged with conspiracy to commit racketeering for accepting bribes and allowing Riddle to take the test. On Wednesday, Riddle had a lot to say, expressing how sorry he was for his actions. The second part of Singer's operation was bribing Division I colleges as means of getting students into the schools of their choice. Lori Loughlin and husband Massimo Giannulli have been charged with conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest services mail fraud. It has been said that they both paid a total of $500,000 for their 2 daughters to be recruited by the University of Southern California crew team. Donald Heinel, the senior associate director at USC, has also been accused of accepting bribes. Colleges and universities have yet to decide how to proceed with those involved with the scandal, but they are monitoring the issue very closely. Now let's head over to Brooke as she recaps Neumann University's Charter Day.
Thanks, Lexi. Charter Day is the day that Neumann celebrates receiving its charter, which allows the university to operate as a university. Today we are celebrating Neumann's essential birthday. Throughout the day, many events took place. We started with a prayer service at 11:30 in the Our Lady of Angels Chapel, which was then followed by a lunch at 12:30 in the Miranda Center. At 1:30, we began the renaming ceremony of the residence halls. Dr. Domes took us through a presentation, which then officially changed the names of the dorms. Instead of LLC 1, 2, and 3, the dorms were changed to the names of the first 3 presidents of the university. The first resident hall was named after Mother Mary Everilda Flynn, who was the first president from 1965 to 1970. LLC 2 was renamed after Sister Sister Madonna Marie Cunningham, who was the second president from 1970 to 1984. Lastly, LLC3 was renamed after Sister M. Margarella O'Neill, who was the third president from 1984 to 1989. Today was a wonderful day for celebration, and the residence halls look great with their new names. Back to you guys at the desk.
We have all heard of the story of Jonah and the whale from the Bible, but have you ever heard anything like it happening in real life? I'm sure it never crossed the mind of Rainer Schimpf, a 51-year-old scuba diver from Southern Africa on March 8th. Rainer Schimpf and his team set off from Port Elizabeth Harbor to document a sardine run. Schimpf said that this sardine run was a natural event which sees the likes of gannets, penguins, seals, and dolphins, whales, and sharks come together to capture large quantities of fish. When the team of divers were about 25 nautical miles away from shore, Schimpf was swallowed by a bride whale. Schimpf told Barcroft TV that he had been trying to film a shark going through a bale weight when his surroundings suddenly became dark and he felt the large whale grab a hold of his body. He could feel the pressure on his hip. There was no time for fear in a situation like this. You have to use your instinct. His team was eagerly watching to see what would happen to him as the cameras were still recording. After some time passed, Schimpf was released from the whale's mouth unharmed and swam back to his boat.
March celebrates women everywhere, and Captain Marvel puts the icing on the cake, slaying the box office. Marvel fans from all around swarmed into the theaters everywhere, resulting to Captain Marvel breaking the glass ceiling, earning over $500 million in the worldwide box office. The film was also recognized as the 18th biggest domestic debut since the launch of The Incredibles 2 in June with $182 million, and Captain Marvel has been noted for being well above most studio productions. A Little Snap has nothing on this one. And the boys are back, and they are on fire. The Jonas Brothers have made a comeback after nearly 6 years of silence. Recently, the Jonas Brothers released their single Sucker, which made it onto the Billboard Hot 100 chart at #1, making their first lead on the list while also being ranked one of the top 5 artists on the Billboard Artists 100 list. The song debuted atop the Hot 100 with 43.7 million streams within the United States and 88,000 downloads sold. Between Captain Marvel and the Jonas Brothers, March is the month striding with glory.
Yesterday we had a preview of spring. Were you able to get out and enjoy it, Rhea?
I very much did so, Lexi, but unfortunately these beautiful temperatures will not linger throughout the upcoming week. For today's forecast, we have mostly cloudy skies with isolated thunderstorms showing 66 degrees. Tomorrow there will be periods of sun and brisk winds from the northwest with a 49-degree temperature. Sunday for your St. Patrick's Day celebrations, the forecast calls for sunshine and patchy clouds. A blur at 44 degrees. 1962, the Chicago River has been dyed green for their annual St. Patty's Parade. No worries though, because they used 25 pounds of vegetable-based dye, and by the end of the weekend, it is back to its murky color. Moving on to Monday, we have a possibility of a morning shower with mostly sunny skies in the afternoon, weighing in at 49 degrees. Tuesday brings us a glorious 48 degrees with sunny skies. For the first day of spring on Wednesday, it will be partly cloudy and the temperature stays consistent at 49 degrees. Rain and snow showers possibly starting off the day on Thursday. Otherwise, clouds breaking for a peak of sun in the afternoon. And the temperature settles at 55 degrees. Now let's send it over to sports.
Neumann University softball team took the field for the first time since spring break and split a pair of games at Albright College on Thursday afternoon. The Lions won 10-2 in the 5 innings, while the Knights took Game 2 11-3 in 6 innings. Jen Simienski pitched the game for the Knights and went 4 1/3 innings in the loss. Nicole Wizard picked up her first win at Neumann, going 6 innings in the circle. She allowed 3 unearned runs and 3 hits and struck out 4. Neumann is now 8-4 and will head to Cedar Crest next Tuesday for a non-conference doubleheader beginning at 3 p.m. The Neumann University women's lacrosse team won its 3rd consecutive contest on Thursday after taking down host Alvernia University in overtime by a score of 15-14 in a non-conference action play matchup. Brittany Cassidy was the offensive force in the win for Neumann, recording 5 goals and an assist for 6 points on the day. Caitlin Conrad also added 5 points, while Brylan Adams, Riley Felder, and Courtney Petrucci each tallied 2. Katrina Kerrigan continued her stellar play in goal with 12 saves. Neumann is now 4-1 and will just have 2 days to prepare for its next contest on Saturday versus Elizabethtown College. Game time is scheduled for 12 p.m. The Neumann University men's lacrosse team found a non-conference play action on Wednesday evening, dropping 13-8 result to Goucher College. Eric Conlin and Max Nice each had a goal, recorded 3 points in the loss, while Hunter France registered 13 saves in goal. Jack Newswanger was excellent in defeat, scoring a goal and winning 15 out of 24 face-offs and picking up 13 ground balls. Neumann is now 2-4 and will turn to home for another non-conference matchup versus the College of Mount St. Vincent tomorrow. Game is scheduled for 1 p.m. The Neumann University baseball team opened its home portion of the 2019 season on Tuesday afternoon and fell to Widener University 11-3. John Skobikoff had 3 hits for the Knights. John Lindenborg added 2 knocks. Nick Labaki started the game, went 5 1/3 innings on the mound in the loss. Josh Cruz came in and pitched 2 outs in the 6th inning. Jared Morris went the final 3 innings and did not allow a run. Neumann is now 5-8 and will remain at home and will host Salisbury next Tuesday. The pitch is slated for 3:30.
Jared, I don't know about you, but I am so excited about NFL and MLB off this week. We can only go through a little bit. We can't go through everything, but just a few notables that have occurred is that Eric Berry, the longtime Kansas City Chief and cancer survivor, was released by the organization this week. Also, Antonio Brown got what he wanted and was traded by the Steelers to Oakland. Some more notable moves out of the NFC East were that former Philadelphia Eagle Golden Tate was signed by the New York Giants shortly after the Giants sent OBJ to the Browns. But the Eagles will not go without a great receiver, as Deshaun Jackson is making a comeback to the Philadelphia Eagles.
So happy.
Now, Jared, just a quick question. Who do you think has made the best moves in order to improve in the 2019 season?
Personally, I think the Cleveland Browns have made the best moves. I know they're not the most strategic moves, but I think they are building their team up year by year. And 2 years ago, they went 0-16. That just shows that from last year to the year before, they really improved 6 games. So I think with all these players they're getting, like OBJ and Sheldon Richardson, who are both Pro Bowlers, I think it's really going to build up their team.
Jared, I get where you're coming from. I know a lot of people agree with you, but I'm going to have to respectfully disagree. I think it's the Arizona Cardinals. I think they've flown under the radar a little bit. Some people would agree with me, but they've flown a little bit under the radar. And the reason I think this is because they've been very strategic on how they're going to improve their team. They noticed how bad the offensive line was last year. I mean, Josh Rosen, as a rookie quarterback, was absolutely destroyed in the backfield. And they went out and signed Marcus Gilbert, who in my opinion comes from one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, that being the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they've gone out and signed former Eagles wide receiver Jordan Hicks to help with the passing game.
Linebacker.
Oh, he's a linebacker. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, and they're going out to sign other linebackers. And no, I really think that Arizona will be I really think Arizona can really do it. I think they'll be a playoff team with the Browns. I don't think they'll I just don't think they've been strategic enough. The Flyers. Now the Flyers are 5 games back to the Caps in their conference. They had a very sloppy loss to the Caps last night, which would have been a huge win. But one thing I can't say enough about the Flyers is you can't give up on the Flyers. You absolutely can't. As soon as these negative comments come out, as soon as and we saw it against the Bruins a few years back where they went down in the playoffs, came back and won like 4 straight games. Yeah. You cannot count out these Flyers. And just one last little kind of feel-good story. Steve Pearce, who's the first baseman for the Boston Red Sox, was picked up last season during the deadline. World Series MVP. He's very special talent. He's played for every team in the AL East. He's been passed around a lot. But he had 2 home runs in his hometown of Lakewood, Florida. First 2 hits in spring training came as his 2 first home runs in his first 2 at-bats in the game against the Detroit Tigers. A little bit of feel-good story to end our sports
And
desk
stay tuned.
broadcast.
And stay tuned next week when me and Len talk about March Madness.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
It's gonna be great.
Very fun. But now we're going to have to send it over to Amaris in the main studio. Dude, I said, why do you see
Finally, the
this?
luck of the New Jersey man
This thing kept
was
popping
changed. It wasn't for a Good Samaritan. The luck of this man, Mike Wiersky, was looking for the positivity for the past couple of years. Wiersky has been playing the lottery on and off. The last time he went to his local grocery store to purchase his tickets, he got distracted and left the tickets on the counter. The night of the lottery drawing, Wiersky went crazy looking for his tickets and could not find them anywhere. After checking every possible place in his house that he could think of, that he could have left them, he returned to the store to see if anyone had turned them in. Luckily, someone found his tickets and turned them in. Not only was Wiersky lucky that he received his tickets, when he went home and looked at the numbers, he realized he had won the jackpot of $273 million. Wiersky was in utter disbelief that he finally won more than $2 on his lottery tickets. Feeling so thankful and blessed that there was still honest people in the world, Wiersky set out to find the man who turned in his tickets so he could give him something in return. Luckily, he found the man who turned it in, who was a store clerk named Phil Campolo, and he decided to live up to the good, honest, and sincere person his parents raised him to be. Winning the lottery was not the only event that has recently happened that has marked Wiersky's change of luck. After being out of work for years and having no luck finding a secure interview, Wiersky got called for an interview, which seemed like a second miracle. Although Wiersky doesn't plan to take the job, he plans to use the money he has won and start a business with a family member. Besides starting the business, he decides to use the money to buy a truck for himself, a car for his mom, and remodel her house, as well as take the family on a vacation. Wiersky plans on taking his lottery winnings in a lump sum of $162 million rather than receiving installments over his lifetime. Now back to you at the desk.
That's all we have for this week's Neumann Update. I'm Amaris Manning.
And I'm Lexi Lomax. Have a great weekend.